What's up, everyone? So I'm coming to you with a new product. Well, not too new, but new to me is the T-Mobile Home Internet. I have been trying to get this for over a year. It is finally available at my home. I've had it for 1 week as of today. I decided I wanted to give it a full week of testing it out before I actually did a review on it. Now, some people that follow me, they know that I do work for the company. This is an unbiased review. It's not sponsored. They're not paying anything for this. So I'll let you know, what I think about it, if I think it's worth it, what my experience has been with it and everything. But let's go ahead and dive in. So I've already set it up, of course. I've had it for a week, like I said. It's going to come in this little box here. It's not very big. I mean, it's going to be a box within a box. It's going to come with your easy setup guide. It does come with one screwdriver. So they have everything to get you going right out of the box. You can set it up using the mobile app on your phone, the Home Internet app. Now, I have found that the Home Internet app just wasn't that great for me, at least. I ended up having to use the browser on my computer. I mean, the app eventually was able to work for me. I went back to it just to make sure that I can do it. But it was a little more tedious. It took a bit more time. And it just wasn't as of a smooth setup. But here's a close up of the box. You got your LTE, your Wi-Fi lights, the battery light. It does have a battery. We'll go ahead and we'll take a look at the underside of it here. So this little compartment is where the battery is going to go. What's really cool about this, though, is if your power goes out, you still have internet. I unplugged it for 1 hour just to test it out. I had the internet for the full 1 hour, and it used up about 15% of the battery. It was about 15 or 16%. So not too bad. You can have your internet out for a few hours, and you'll still have home internet. So that's one big pro with this one. We'll talk about some of the cons as well once we get to it. Let's go ahead and we'll take a look at the back of it. So we have on the left side here, we have where the SIM card is going to go. It's going to be already pre-installed. There's a little tape on it to keep you from removing it. You don't need to remove it anyway. It's already activated. We got a WAN port. Now, it should be able to hook up to a router. Now, I did not try any of my routers with it. I'm just using it just right out of the box. I didn't want to really add any of my own stuff, just so I get a good experience of everything that they have to offer. And then you got 2 LAN ports. You got a phone port. I'm not too familiar with the phone port. I'm not using it. I'm not going to. I guess you could hook up a home phone line with it, but I can't tell you too many details, at least with that one. I don't work for the home internet department, so I don't know any of the technical things outside of what I've learned with setting it up and everything. And then, of course, it's got the power supply, and then you got an on-off switch, and you got the reset button. I used the reset button a couple times just so I could do the different setups. But let's go ahead and we'll dive into the rest of it here. So let's go ahead and we'll take a look at the app here. We'll open it up. It's going to show you what your signal is going to be. It's going to show you how much data you used. I've used 218 gigabytes in the past week. You can see which devices. You can see your 2 networks, 2.4 and the 5 gigahertz. There is a support section, so you can check commonly asked questions. They also provide a dedicated phone number and all of that stuff. You can get cell tower connection metrics, and you can get the user guide and everything right here from the app as well. So it's pretty convenient there, pretty cool. And then you're probably wondering, what about the speeds? How are those looking? So I've been doing speed tests on both my computer and my mobile, my phone for the last week, off and on, different times of the day and everything. I can tell you that the speeds when it comes to mobile is less consistent than if you hardwire it through the LAN to your computer. That's been my experience, at least. But we'll go ahead and I'll pull up the speed test here. So these are the different speed tests I've done in the last few days. What I did just a little while ago, 62 down, 49 up. The ups are really good. They're definitely better than my cable company. And then you can see with my phone, with the LTE by itself, I get 111 down, 52 up. These are pretty close to average. I would say my phone itself gets pretty close to 140 on average. Sometimes a little less, sometimes a little higher. And I did get a couple there where they were a little higher, like 94 on the Wi-Fi. But I definitely get it much faster when it comes to the computer. So we could go ahead and Let's just go ahead and bring it up to the computer here. I'm going to go ahead and open up another tab. Let's just go ahead and do a live speed test. Let's see what it's going to show me right now. I do have a couple things going in the background. I've got some downloads and torrents and things, but let's go ahead and see what I get right now. This is a LAN connection. We got 35 ping, not too bad. Looks like it's not reaching quite as high today, but I've been getting anywhere between 80 and 120 when it comes to the computer itself. So it sped up there just a little bit there at the end. As for the uploads, I've been averaging about 35 to 45. The high end, I've reached actually pretty close to 60. I think it was about 56 or so. That was the highest upload, but I've been getting over 40, almost pretty consistent. I could say that this has actually been really nice for like my YouTube videos because I can upload them a lot quicker. I do have other channels that I upload to, even if you haven't really seen too much on this one lately. That was one of the big reasons why I was trying this out. I've been using Xfinity for years now, and there's just not a lot of options in my area. I do pay for the 500 down. 18 up is what they give me, which is pretty crap, which is why I wanted to look into other options, and I wanted to see what the T-Mobile home internet would offer me. I would be happier if it was a faster download speed. Now, these are the 4G LTE speeds. I can only imagine once they do roll out the 5G, it's definitely going to get a lot better. I know the 5G is coming for home internet as well, but it's not here yet. The 5G, at least on my phone, is not even that great, not in my area. I only have the low band of it, so it's not much faster than LTE, and that's going to be the case everywhere. Once they have their mid-bands rolled out, that's going to be a huge changer for us when it comes to getting the internet. Now, this home internet is more marketed to like rural areas, people that live out in the middle of nowhere. They don't have too many options, but if they do have a T-Mobile signal, they could get faster than what a lot of people have what's offered out there. I know there's some areas where like AT&T they're saying they're abandoning them, and what they're not even really abandoning them. What they're doing is that they're just not providing DSL anymore for any new customers. But T-Mobile is hopping in there in those areas. They're doing the home internet. And I did see some other reviews for some people that have hopped on board where they are seeing some faster speeds. Like with AT&T, they were getting 6 megabytes or so, sometimes even less than that, which is incredibly slow for this time and age for us. I mean, we are pretty digital. But T-Mobile in those same areas, some of them were seeing like 15, 25, sometimes even higher speeds. So it's going to be really dependent on where you live, what kind of a signal you're going to get and everything. You're not going to see as fast speeds as me everywhere where you are. Some people are going to see as fast as me. Some people are going to see on that lower end. I know T-Mobile was saying that they're pretty much sticking to the areas that they can give at least 25 down. I think that's the going rate. And they are expanding this quite a bit. Before it was invite only. It still kind of is, but you do have to go to the website. You have to check and see if it's eligible in your area. It's not eligible for everybody, and it's going to let you know. Just go to tmobile.com/ISP and just put in your address. If you are eligible, it will give you a phone number you can call, or they'll reach out to you afterwards. But it's definitely going to help out a lot of people there that just don't have options. And there are some people out there that are actually still on dial-up too. I forgot what it was, but I think I saw the last I ever looked, there was still like 3 million people or more that still have to use dial-up, which is pretty crazy. It's been a couple decades since I've had to use it. I just can't imagine having to go back to that. But let's go ahead and we'll take a look at a couple other things here. Let's go ahead and we'll take a look at the gateway through the browser, through the computer. Like I said, this was the easiest way to get it set up. It's the easiest way to go through your settings and everything. I found with the mobile app, it was harder to update like your passwords or everything. But if you do it through the browser, it's just so much easier. You could go in here. You kind of see some of the same stuff. You'll see connected devices. You can see your status. So you could go to your status and see your connection. And you can just go through all of them. You'll see your battery percentage, the channel bandwidth that's on, the channel it's on, everything there. You'll be able to. You already showed that. You can go to the traffic. So you can see how much you've used. So like you can see, I've used a total traffic of 218 gigabytes this last week. I put it through a little bit more abuse. I wanted to see what it would do. I have not seen any slowdowns. I know that's a big question that people have. Do they throttle it? At least I haven't noticed anything. It's been saying pretty consistent with speeds. Now, I know that they do have disclaimers where in high congestion areas, if you're using a lot of it, you can be deprioritized, but that doesn't mean that you're going to be throttled down necessarily. And with home internet, it's still pretty new. There's not a lot of people with it yet. So I highly doubt you're going to come through or have any kind of congestion issues with it in your area if you do end up getting it. And then you can kind of go through, and there's a lot of different tabs. You can see, like, you could do airplane mode. You can do all that stuff. You go in and you can manage your Wi-Fi settings. It's pretty easy right here. You can change your passwords. And then you also have a parental control, which is nice that they did add that in. Not all routers even have this, so that's a nice little feature. Now, let's go ahead and we'll talk about the cons and the pros and everything that I have for this home internet. So first, let's talk about the pros. So the pros is that it is on a cell connection. You don't have to have any wires coming into your home. It's more accessible for remote areas and everything, as long as you do qualify for that area. The speeds are a heck of a lot better than some of the companies that you might get in some of those areas, especially when it comes to like satellite and everything. I have used satellite a couple of years ago when I was at my sister's property out in the middle of nowhere, and I can tell you that the Dish network and everything is just horrible, super slow. So, I know that my family can't qualify for this one yet. Hopefully this gets out to their area because it'd be just so much better. But the pings, you saw it had a 35 millisecond ping. On the phone it was a little bit higher, and then when it comes to gaming, it is a little bit higher of a ping depending on the game and everything. Like some of my followers that play Genshin Impact, for example, I was getting about 130 millisecond pings, and with my Xfinity, I get about 90. So there is a little bit of a difference there. I haven't played any other games really on this where I would see that it might come to be a little bit more of an issue if you're used to higher speeds. This isn't going to be a guaranteed cable connection or fiber or anything like that. At least when the 5G comes, I think it's going to be a heck of a lot better. The games that I think where you're going to see the biggest impacts would be like first-person shooters, things where you need that lower ping. It's kind of the difference between dying and living. If you got a high ping, you can be killed. A second later, you see yourself killed. That's just a quick example for it. Now, for some other pros, the speeds are pretty consistent. I haven't had any issues with like huge drops. I haven't had any connectivity issues. It hasn't disconnected whatsoever. It's been pretty solid for me. And I would say if you live out in the middle of nowhere, I would probably recommend keeping this closer to like a window, just because you'll be able to see the tower a little bit better. You get better reception. Just put it in your house where you see the best signal possible. Where I live, it's just not. It doesn't really matter to me because I do get full bars either way. But definitely keep that in mind. If you're seeing a low signal in one area, move it to another room. Try that, and you'll probably see a difference. Some of the other cons is the Wi-Fi signal. It doesn't reach quite as far as I would like. Now, if you use the 2.4 gigahertz, it will reach my entire home, and it will go much further. That's a given with any router. Now, with the 5 gigahertz, just going to my kitchen, that's probably 100 feet away, it drops down to less than half the signal. So the 5G signal, you're not going to get very far, at least with the Wi-Fi. And again, it's going to depend on your home. It's going to depend on different things, obstacles and everything that's in the way of the signal. But I'm just going to give you my experience with it. So if I'm in other parts of the house, I'm not really using the 5 gigahertz just because it's just not as good of a signal. I haven't tested it on another router, or with a router, but I can tell you that some of the other routers that I have, it does reach much further. My Xfinity does reach a lot further for the 5 gigahertz. So that's going to be one of my biggest cons when it comes to the T-Mobile home internet. I think their router could be just a little bit stronger. But I mean, it is what it is. You're not really going to see those 5 gigahertz types of speeds anyway right now. Not until they have like the the 5G connection rolled out, which we don't know how long it's going to take when it gets to the home internet. So go ahead and use the 2.4. It's going to be plenty for you. You can use, you can use the 5 if you're in the same room. That's not a problem. I've been using this pretty much for just my phone and just my computer. I did a little bit on my TV in my bedroom. The rest of my house is still on the Xfinity. I just kind of wanted to have a bit more of a controlled environment to do my testing and everything. But one other con is this is issued for your address, so you have to give an address for it. You can't travel with it. This is not really going to work as a hotspot device. It's not going to work for somebody that's living in an RV and everything. If you leave the location, it most likely is not going to work because it is tied to your location. Same with like emergency 911 and everything. It's all tied to that address through this box. So just to let you know, you're not going to be able to travel with this. So that's going to be one more con for some people. Other than that, I think it's a really solid device. It's $50 a month with auto pay, $55 without. I don't get this for free. I don't get a huge discount on it or anything like that. I got this for my own, as a customer. I wanted to try it out and everything. Now the question is, am I going to keep it? That is a really good question. Now I really like having it. If I was able to get it a little bit cheaper, I might hold on to it a little bit more. But I think ultimately it's not given the down speeds that I need right now. The upload speeds are wonderful. I would love to be able to keep these upload speeds. But I'm going to give it a little bit more time to use. We're going to see. I know Xfinity is supposed to be working on some fiber speeds, and they're supposed to be able to get higher uploads and everything. So we'll see what goes on there. But, I'm not going to save 100%. I'm sticking with the T-Mobile home internet. And that's my honest opinion with it. But, like I said, I think it's a great device, great service that they're doing. And if you're in an area where you got limited choices, you're out in the middle of nowhere and everything, definitely go to the link. Check and see if you're eligible for it. It is worth it. It is cheaper than most other companies out there, especially when it comes to satellite and everything. Anyway, if you like my reviews, definitely subscribe, comment below, and I thank you for stopping by.